Hello again. So I know it has been well over a year and a half since I've uploaded a video here to YouTube, so I figured what better way to jump back into it than to show you guys what it is I've been up to here at Ahonui Artisans for the last year and a half. The purpose of the video today is going to be to showcase to you some of the products that I've made available to the resin and woodworking community over the last year and a half. And instead of just showing them to you, I figured I'd go ahead and use them to make something cool while I'm at it. For today's video, I'm going to be using my 12.5 by 20.5 by 2 inch inside dimension reusable resin form to make 3 wine caddies using one of each of the cast acrylic templates that I offer to make wine caddies. So as I mentioned before, the purpose of today's video is going to be to showcase the products that I offer to the community, not so much going to focus on the intricacies of the woodworking or resin working side of things. I do plan on making videos in the future that are going to focus more heavily on the actual making of the products, of the finished product, but today I do just want to be able to show you guys what I have available for the resin and woodworking community. The form does come pre-assembled and pre-sealed, ready to pour out of the box. So once you're ready to do your pour, you take your pre-selected and prepped lumber, set it in the form the way you would like to set it in the form, however you'd like to orient it. Take the included clamp bars and clamp blocks using the integrated T-channel in the side of the form to clamp down your lumber to keep it from floating once you introduce resin to the form. Depending on the thickness of your lumber, you may have to play with the two different included sizes of clamp blocks to get the right distance between the clamp and the lumber. Just a light twist. You do not need to crank down on these. All you're doing is making sure that the wood will not float or move once you introduce resin to the form. So once you get that lightly snug in place, the next step is to level the form. Your workspace may not necessarily be as level as you think. I know that mine are not. I tried to level this table as best I could, but I knew it wasn't going to be perfect. So there is a built-in level kit in this form. It has levels on the sides, or on the long side, and one on the short side to allow you to use the adjustable feet and the included screwdriver that comes with the kit to level the form properly. To adjust these leveling feet, you simply insert the included screwdriver into this hole here, the same hole that you used to put your clamp bars into the form, and twist to the right to raise, twist to the left to lower, and then you're ready to go. Now that we've got the lumber secured in place and the form is all level, it's time to mix up some resin and throw it in the form. It's been just shy of the 72-hour mark for the cure on this. It is quite well cured. Now I just release the clamp bars, remove the clamp bars, the blocks. Good thing about these HDPE blocks, which are included with the kit, is that if resin does get on them, like this one's a little stuck, it pulls out. If you overflow, then you get resin on the top of here. It's really not a big deal. You could just tap it lightly with a hammer, like I'm gonna have to do those two right there. All I need is a light tap with a hammer and they're going to pop right off. Even if the resin surrounds it entirely, a couple taps with a hammer, it'll come right out. The benefit of it being made out of the same material that the form is made out of. Now it's ready to flip on its edge, pop one of these sides off. I only have to pop one side off. I prefer to pop the side off that has more wood than resin, or at least the majority of the wood, just for a little bit of added stability. I've never found it to be truly necessary. It's just like a mental thing for me. So I'm gonna flip this thing up, pop that up, or pop this end off and show you just how easy it is to remove this from the form. But taking the end cap off is real simple. You don't need a drill to do it, it's just faster. You can use any screwdriver. It's put together with general Phillips head screw, number 3. Then just take a light tap of the hammer and pops right off and is nice and clean. From there, I prefer to use a wide blade chisel. It's got a nice ramp on it, which will help kick this away from the form, and it's nice and sharp to get between the blank and the form. Remove the blank. You just get right where the blank touches the form. Set your chisel and tap on it with a hammer. You'll see that it's made its initial pop, and then you can just pop it right out. It's that simple, very clean, very easy. Resetting the form is just as easy. All you have to do is take and peel the silicone off the end that's already there. If it doesn't really want to come off, it's usually pretty well solidified and not real liquidy. You can just take the chisel, scrape the edge, and pull any of the excess silicone sealant off there. Following the instructions in the pamphlet that comes with the kit, properly apply a new bead, reattach the end cap, and then let set for the appropriate either overnight or 12-hour period, and you're ready to pour again. Because this resin is like water when it's in its fully liquid state, it is just going to find its way underneath that wood while it's curing or before it cures. So that is something that will have to be addressed afterwards. In my case, I take it to my planer. I use this flat surface as a reference. I plane the top down to where I want it to be, and then I flip it over and I clean the bottom once the top is flat, and we're good to go. It removes any of those little scuff marks that you might see, and it takes the resin back down to wood level on the bottom side. So I'm going to take this board over to my planer. I'm going to get it done. I'm going to show you how to section this thing up to make the wine caddies using my templates. Now that the blank has been cleaned on both sides and brought to final thickness, I'm going to lay out the templates about where I want them to be. It's going to be something about these along this lines here, something about like that. Then I'm going to mark a line between them where I'm going to take it to the bandsaw and separate this wood to make it a little easier to handle as individual pieces. Then I'll go ahead and trace the templates, cut as close as I can to that template line on the bandsaw to make it easier for the router bit, and then I will double side tape the templates to the blank, take it over to the router table and get to work. So now that we got the blanks separated, I'm just going to reference this one blank and this one template for the rest of the video, since the rest of the project will all be just a repeat of this process. But don't worry, I will show you how all 4 or 3, depending on what I end up doing, come out. But for sake of time, we're going to focus on this particular blank and template. So here, I'm going to lay the template about where I want it. I can see a little better than the camera can show where the wood comes in underneath the resin here, and I think this is going to be a really cool location for it. Grabbing a little bit of this lumber down here, and I think that's where I'm going to want it set. So I'm going to trace the template, and then once that's done, I'm going to pre-drill the holes and then take the blank over to the bandsaw and get as close to this perimeter tracing that I can, just to make life a little bit easier on the 1/4 inch flush trim bit. There's the tracing. So I'm going to take it over to the drill press now.